Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Night Magic here at Top Deck Productions, brought to you by Twitch TV, streaming in Mason, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. And I'm Mark Anliker. I'm here with Victor Kurz.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Gonna kick things off, cracking open a cold one with the boys.
Yeah, Victor bought a drink and he saved it just for that visual or that audio effect.
I thought
very
it was
impactful.
well worth it.
Yeah, great way to start off the night. We have Nate Lang here on 4-color Delirium Shadow. I assume that means it has green. That's probably the operative color.
Probably Jund splashing a little bit
blue.
Of stubborn denial.
That's what I'm thinking.
Imagine.
Yeah, I played against that last
moist
weekend.
Jund.
It's pretty good. You get Goyfs and Snapcaster, which is pretty dope. And then Addison Duff
Well, typically they're
here on
not
Elves.
Snapcaster, to be fair.
You wouldn't play like one or two Snapcasters in your.
I've seen one in the side a lot. That has been
yeah,
pretty
you're right.
common.
You're right. Now that I think about it, that's what I've seen too.
But it's not really a big thing. And then we got Addison Duff on Elves. How are you breaking down this matchup? First things first.
Huge favorite for Delirium. Yeah.
See, I'm thinking game one I found
game one.
Elves.
Yeah, game one could go any way. I think the game one's really play draw dependent.
Nate Lang is on the play, but with no discard.
Yeah, the discard's what you wanted here, but if he can push the first guy, Heritage Druid is actually one of the way that Elves can combo you off nicely.
Definitely can just get killed quite quickly, but that's got me wondering, okay, if he opens on a Heritage Druid, he probably doesn't have any other mana Elves, which means he's probably got a pretty...
yeah, he probably would have preferred, even though Heritage Druid's great, you probably prefer to start on a Llanowar Elves or something.
Elvish Mystic.
Elvish Mystic
any mana producing
any one of
elf,
those guys.
Really. So I got to imagine you're
even
probably
an
putting
Elves
him
of
on
Deep
maybe
Shadow.
like what's the guy that's 2/2?
Dwinen's Elite?
Yeah, I got to imagine he has a couple of those in his hand.
Yeah, you really get him
stuff.
next turn if Addison tries to cast the Dwinen's Elite, and then you push the guy in response. But looks like Nate's going to try to use his mana effectively and push it right now.
And I'm also seeing a Liliana
the Last Hope.
Main
That is going to be brutal.
That's
so if we push the
hard to
first
overcome.
guy and we're able to remove or forestall the second guy with like a Tarmogoyf or something, this Liliana, okay, yeah, this might just be over.
Yeah, we got 3/4 right now.
Yeah,
sitting there, ready to do some blocking.
this would have been. Does Nate have a third land in hand?
I believe so. I believe he's got at least 2 more lands, and I think a Street Wraith as
Yeah,
well,
if Addison were on the play, things wouldn't be over. But with Nate on the play here and going push Goyf Lily, I can't imagine that this game's going to last too long. Is that a Mystic, promo
Mystic? That is
Mystic?
a Mystic, so I think you can presume
He
top
drew into
decked
that, yeah.
I'm a little surprised. We got Nate Lang sitting on double Street Wraiths here. I'm a little surprised we didn't see him fire off one last turn, especially when you have like such a good late game card against the Elves deck. I wouldn't be too worried about dying out of nowhere.
Sure.
Really, from where you are right now. But
so, do we think Nate gets a basic swamp here since he has Stomping Ground in hand?
I would be surprised if he didn't. I think I'd be a bit bold.
Well, it looks like he's going
it's
to 12.
Not a Death Shadow game, but he's going to 12.
Yeah, that seems fine, I guess.
Which is
with double Street Wraith though, that's like.
And especially if you're not willing to pay the life for the Street Wraith last turn, that just seems a bit weird to me. He could be planning something down the line. I don't really know. Maybe he's planning on casting the Street Wraith. Crazier things happen.
It seems like on this board you don't need any more threats than a Goyf and a Lily, right?
Yeah, probably
it's not like you don't even need to dip below 13 for shadows. Like you don't even care.
And you don't often see paths game 1 out of Elves. It certainly is possible, but I would be really surprised to see something like that.
If I were Addison, I would just scoop here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty.
I'm not sure what series of plays gets Addison out of this one.
I think we just have to see some kind of double company action, something to swarm that Lily.
So maybe if you went Elvish Mystic, Dwinen's Elite. No, if you went Heritage Druid, Dwinen's Elite here, tap 3 for an Arc Druid, empty your hand, but you have like a chord left, and then you chord for like a Revoker and name Liliana.
It's possible, but I wonder what he's playing here. Some kind of flip thingy.
Oh, that's the new
guy.
Yeah, the Gaia's Cradle thing that's not very good.
Okay, well, maybe it's just when he needs here.
I think I think it's okay.
Creature impulsing.
I think I played against Addison a couple weeks ago, and he was trying it out, and again, from my point of view, I was like,
Reason.
okay, that's fine. You got a lot of mana. Like, it's already Elves. You had a lot of mana anyway.
Yeah, it does seem a bit superfluous to the game plan. I mean, if this flips, you probably already have a shit ton of mana. So
Yeah,
I gotta imagine just kills
it
people
seems
on the
like
spot.
you don't really lose anything for playing it since it tutors, or you get to, intuition for a card or whatever.
So now we're seeing the Thoughtseize here. We got a Chord, Archdruid,
Nettle Sentinel.
Nettle Sentinel, which you got off that Growing Rites, and I'm not entirely certain what that other card is, honestly. I don't even know. It looks white, but it might be green. It looks
Wait,
like some type
you
of
mean the one-
promotional card.
You mean the one?
Maybe-
It's all the way on the top. Yeah. I
Well,
don't-
next to the Growing Rites.
yeah, I don't know what that is.
It may be a Shaman of the Pack. I can't tell. I honestly we
Could
don't
be
even know
could be a
if
Tajuru Preserver promo. I don't think that card has a promo. Oh, that might just be a foil Dwinnen's Elite. I think that was just a foil
Okay.
Dwinnen's Elite.
Interesting. All right. And I am curious to know if Addison is on the Abzan silly man, Elves with
Zombie
the
Elves.
Shaman of the Pack. I think Shaman of the Pack is particularly potent against Shadow decks because they often go very low, and then a guy coming in
Sure.
hit for 5 can
Yep,
end the game
yep.
pretty much on the spot.
No,
Those are
I would
definitely
say that to me the best use of a Shaman of the Pack Elves deck is to play it with no chords and no companies, but with 4 Lead the Stampedes.
okay. Yeah,
And
I've played against
what I'm
lists
talking
like
about.
that,
And
yeah.
they've got like 34 creatures, 4 Lead the Stampedes, and that's the whole deck.
I have had opponents draw 4 against me with Lead the Stampedes, and that's a pretty bad
Yeah,
deal.
it's pretty brutal.
But Addison's still fighting the good fight.
All right.
So it is a Dwinnen's Elite.
So he can
coming in.
use his chord here to get a 1/1 creature. That doesn't seem.
Doesn't seem.
Is there
great.
anything you could get that would? I doubt there's anything main board that would even help him here at 1.
No, I doubt it. And then how does this Growing Rites flip? What's the
I think you got to control like 7 creatures or something.
7? There's no way it's 7.
Oh, maybe it's like 5 or 4 or 5.
I feel like it's 4. It's
Oh, we got it. Yeah, it's 4.
okay. So
Yeah, that
I mean,
seems-
I guess he could have theoretically corded just to flip that, but again, the flip side of it doesn't really do.
Sure, right. If he
anything.
went and got a 1-drop,
So now Nate
he'd
is
have all kinds of
deciding
mana.
to fire off some of these Street Wraiths, which interesting timing. But he's just been drawing a bunch, and he kind of committed himself to not really casting any. But maybe now he just grabs a swamp and casts one. I mean, he's sitting in 2 in his hand. He's
Yeah,
very clearly
you could
been
cast one.
adverse to
It's a 3/4. It's not bad, I guess.
it blocks. I mean, that looks like it may be the play because I don't think he can. I think he could go to 4. I don't think that would be the end of the world. But actually, no, it would be the end of the world.
I wouldn't
on this board.
I
It's
would-
attacked.
I would-
Oh,
I mean,
but he just
I mean, I
passes.
wouldn't-
Interesting.
I wouldn't be scared of doing that when you have a Lillian play. That's you're right. If he did it right now, it'd be terrible. But
I mean, he's just hanging on to him. I presume he has a swamp in his deck. I don't know why he wouldn't. But he looks like he's not going for it.
yeah, I'm still a
Which
little
he's just
surprised
sitting
with
on those
the.
two wraiths.
I'm still surprised about the fetch for Blood Crypt earlier instead of the basic.
Yeah, it definitely. I feel like he's kind of has this overarching plan, but is kind of making plays that kind of go against that, which is a little bit odd. I'm curious as to what he's thinking about here. And then I presume Addison is going to go to combat attack with his 2 guys that are not summoning sick. Goes with the Lily. Yeah, and this would have been a spot where a little 3/4 blocker would have been pretty good.
Sure.
Protected his Lily now.
Sure.
I mean, now it's a 2, which is. Ooh, yep, the Nettle Sentinel would have untapped if he would have attacked and then played his guys post-combat. So, a slight misstep by Addison. Draws a Tarfire, which is pretty good in this matchup. He's not
Yeah.
a lot of great targets at this moment.
But we can make that Goyfin do probably a 6/7.
Yep, probably. Would be interesting. 4, 5. Yeah, there are no. No, there is an instant in the yard, so just be a 5/6. I really am surprised to see him not play that Street Wraith last turn. I really feel like this has put him in a kind of a bad spot, honestly.
Yeah.
Going from a turn
Yeah,
3.
for going push Goyf Lily, he doesn't seem all that far ahead. I mean, I still think he wins the match here, but
Honestly, it's not looking great. I don't know how much exactly is being courted for. He's got 4 guys in play, so that Guy's Cradle card is tapping for 4. 5, 6, so he basically gets the court for his deck. So if he has a Shaman of the pack, that would be quite bad here. Deciding to cycle one of the Street Wraiths at an odd time, and then goes to shoot down the Dwin's Elite. Oh, going to 4. Interesting.
All right.
Really, really surprised by this timing, and he's kind of getting punished pretty hard because he's just drawing.
Well, yeah, he's got a couple lands in hand.
So, and he did put
but
himself dead on board.
I don't think Addison's playing Shaman.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he doesn't get the Shaman, so
I
it's kind of lucky
I mean,
there.
I think Addison is just on green white. He might even be on mono green.
Well, and now he's probably just dead to a little pump, a little bit of trample.
Oh, is that a Razorverge Thicket under that forest?
That is a Razorverge Thicket under that forest.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want Razorverge Thicket in the Abzan version. So.
Well, looks like Addison is gonna get the kill, which. Funny that you recommended him to scoop on turn 4, and now he's come back.
Yeah, Nate, this game did not shape up. So Nate actually had 1, 2, 3. Nate's got 7 lands at his disposal, which is not where he wanted to be, especially having to cycle 2 Street Wraiths.
I mean, I think you just have to go for it here because even if he has
double. Oh yeah, you definitely go for it here.
Yeah, I mean double removal spell doesn't even break it up. He would have had to fire one of them off prior to the untap, so that way this guy wouldn't have given plus a lot. I mean, I guess exactly double removal spell keeps him alive here, but it's not going to because he's got no removal. So a little bit of, I think, poor sequencing on these Street Wraiths kind of came to bite him. Also just kind of drew a lot of land, which is unfortunate. I mean, the deck plays, what, 18, 19 lands?
Yeah, he's sitting on 7 out of 18. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, which definitely isn't great, but I don't think he played in a way to maximize his ability to win, and he dies with potentially one of the best cards in the format against Elves.
Yeah,
on play.
I'm shocked. That's a real tragedy for Nate there.
Board. Yeah, it's
well, hey, good thing Addison didn't scoop.
yeah. You know, got there. I'm interested about that Growing Rights card. Didn't really seem to do much there.
No, that's the thing. It never. But you also, again, you don't lose much for play. I mean, it's a 3-drop, and when it comes in, you get to Tractor or something.
It's a high cost.
Well, it's just, I mean, you play it on turn 2, and it replaces itself. And can generate mana later. I mean, it's not. I don't think the card is good. I don't see a reason to play it, but if it keeps you happy, you know, that's your prerogative.
All right, now how do we think these guys are going to sideboard? Get a little bit of a there.
Yeah, if I'm Nate, I'm taking out all these Lilia the Last Hopes. They're just not helpful. No, hopefully Nate has. You know, I would have said that he had those in the sideboard coming in, but since we've seen one in the main, I wonder if he has another one. But probably not.
I got to imagine. Based on lists I've seen and played against, he's probably going to have some Teamer Battle Rages on the side. Which
yeah, those seem good here for getting through the chump blockers.
Yeah. Other cards I'm thinking of.
I wonder.
Nothing great. He's probably got some Lilies in the side.
I wonder if he's got like a Kozilek's Return. You know, one of the red light sweepers.
Of sweeper.
It could be a Flank Tendrils.
And we could even see as a Staticaster because this deck presumably
does.
Yeah,
he's got blue-red. Yeah.
Traverse the Oldenwald, which grabbing it as a Staticaster in this matchup seems quite good. We're being told that there are Teamer Battle Rages in the main.
Oh, in the main, I like it.
Which I've been a fan of. I played one of those main this past week, and it was pretty good for me. It's pretty good for me. Now, Addison, I think the big question for him is going to be, does he have Chameleon Colossus, which isn't as good
Chameleon Colossus is pretty dope
against the
Tasker version, yeah, sure.
Because Tarmogoyf still does kind of just block it pretty effectively. But, you know, if he's able to push through a Tarmogoyf with a path, which I presume he has paths in the side, I think that's a pretty safe assumption.
If you're Addison, what do you want to take out here? I have some very specific thoughts on what you want to take out in these grindy, removal heavy matchups, but
I definitely heard.
I think we talked about this last time, didn't we?
We might have. I've always heard that Chord is not great in these mid-rangey matchups. However,
so I think it depends on what targets you have. You know, if I'm Addison and I have like an Aegis of the Gods or something like that, you know, I want to keep some chords
Why
in,
on
just
earth
like
would he have an Aegis of the Gods?
I did.
That is
It nullifies, you know, cards like Kolaghan's Command. It nullifies all his hand disruption. It nullifies Liliana of the Veil completely.
Well, Liliana of the Veil is certainly not a card I hope to see post-board against Elves.
On the play, I think it's fine. On the draw, you definitely wouldn't have it, but on the play, you keep that shit in.
When I used to play Lily's main deck, the number of times I play Lily on 3, minus hit, and die to a Dwinen's Elite token would just feel so bad.
Sure,
and sometimes you just have to do that. But so I really hope he does not have the Lilies.
So in that game where you go turn 1 push, turn 2 Goyf, turn 3 Liliana, like we saw from Nate in game 1, either Liliana plays essentially the same role there, in the way that game shakes it up.
I think Lily being able to like curve out into Lily of the Veil specifically to plus, I think is a much better line. But I think just too many things have to line up for that to be the case, especially when I just feel like there's more powerful, proactive things you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely true that Addison can go wide easily and then take have the board state to take the 1 damage off the Lily, and then it's just a 3 mana Diabolic Edict, and that's no good. But
maybe gain 2 life, something like that.
Yeah, sure. But I think on the play, if he has like 3 or 2, you maybe don't want that many, but I think it's still a fine card.
I'm really curious about Nate Lang's deck list because if he's playing Lily on the Last Hope
in the main
and
board,
Teamer Battle Rages, I'm curious as to what he doesn't have.
Right. Yeah,
maybe
it could be he's got to be skimping on something, right?
We did see blue mana there, so I gotta presume he has.
He's got Stubborn Denial in the main.
Stubborn Denials. Maybe he doesn't have a main. Maybe he only has some on the side. I want to say I've seen like at least one list. No, he's got the stub in the main. We're being told. So this is interesting. I'm really curious as to what cards he doesn't have.
So can we backtrack for a second to that first game? Did Nate play nothing else but push Tarfire, Goyf, Liliana?
He did. He drew 3 Street Wraiths and a lot of lands.
He had to win that game with those 4 cards. Now, like you said, he could have played it. He could have won if he just cast a Street Wraith, probably.
Yeah.
But God, he actually only had Tarmogoyf, Liliana, Tarfire, push. That's it. That's pretty rough.
Right now, Nate Lang looking at a hand. I'm seeing a push and I'm seeing a Tarfire, which is. I gotta be feeling pretty good about that.
And to terminate. I wonder. You're right, Vic. I wonder what he's missing here. What's he cut to make room for Last Hope in the main? He's got a Flash Freeze.
Flash Freeze. that is what I like to see.
Yeah. The thing about Flash Freeze in this deck is you got to hold up 2 mana for it.
Yeah. After playing with it a good bit, the difference between 1 and 2 mana is really a lot.
like the card is really good against a deck like Elves, but in this shadow and all these shadow type decks. The goal is to be hyper efficient, and leaving up 2 mana might not always jive with your game plan.
Now, this is kind of an interesting question. Do you, Mark Anlicker here,
me personally,
or do you Tarfire this Mystic?
Oh, you definitely want to Tarfire the Mystic. Assuming you've got another fetch.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking is, what doesn't really die to push, or to Tarfire that does die?
Well, the problem is if he has the corner case would be he's got multiple Lord effects in play. Mm-hmm. And then you need to have more than 2 damage, or you need to be able to have a fetch land to proc Revolt. So I guess it's an interesting question, but I would say you always Tarfire there.
See, I was just thinking like maybe if he was out of fetches or had a fetch late draw, you might want to push there because you can't guaranteed turn on the Revolt aspect for specifically an Archdruid.
Looks like he's got Bloodstained Verdant in hand.
Yeah, but I did see him pick up a Bloodstained Mire this turn. I think he already had a Verdant Catacombs in hand, so I think he was okay on that front. But, I mean, this is kind of one of those unfortunate shadow draws where you've got a lot of these reactive cards, but no threat.
Yeah,
and those are really the games you lose. Because these Death Shadow decks play this kind of mid-rangey game, but it's not that potent. You just have to have a threat.
Sure. Does Nate already have access to 5 lands?
Yeah, I mean, he really did not want to draw lands these past 2 turns. I mean, these decks can function very easily on 3 lands. I think, ideally, maybe, every game you hit 4, but...
What is that? Is that a Tajiri Preserver?
A Shaper's Sanctuary?
Oh, that's that new one that whenever you're...
Yeah,
it's sort of like it's like a Wild Defiance, but instead of you getting +3/+3, you just get a draw card.
For us. That would be cool.
Yeah, card's pretty dope. Showing up a lot, even in older formats.
But unfortunately, it's going to eat a flash freeze.
The 2-mana flash freeze to take out the 1-mana card.
Yeah, doesn't
seems,
feel great.
Seems
yeah,
fine.
I mean, I feel like Shaper Sanctuary would be able to kind of take over the game.
Yeah, sure.
Diamond's Elite, no trigger, feels bad.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to see.
So
Just pick up
Thoughtseize
on
for Nate
Thoughtseize.
Lang. That seems pretty good here. Hopefully we
look
can get
at
a
what
company
we're-
or something. Yeah, take that
Gets to
company.
snipe the company. And probably just terminate this other dude. He presumably will draw another company because that is often the case. But I wonder if he's going to terminate with this other guy on the stack. I feel like that's probably better, just kind of
Just to blow him out,
lure
yep.
him into it. Shoves. Let's see if he goes for it.
All right. Do you think we're getting basic swamp now? When he has the overgrown tomb in hand? I think he can manage his life till. There we go. Basic swamp. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, especially this
He's
isn't a
thinking
Death
about
Shadow
it.
game yet, and you have another fetch and play
Yeah.
and another shock in hand. I
Yeah.
really think it would behoove you to
Well,
grab this
great,
one.
great word tonight from
Thank
Victor
you.
Kurz, folks.
Thank you. I was reading a dictionary just before this.
Is that
actually.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one?
Uh,
Definitely wasn't reading a dictionary, folks. In case you were wondering, he is a liar.
I was looking up Urban Dictionary stuff earlier today.
Oh yeah.
We can talk about that in between because
All right. As long
it
as
might be
you
offensive
keep
to
it
our viewers.
PG-13.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna not do that.
All right. So
Sorry.
we got the terminate to avoid taking the damage.
And casting the
And
one
Heritage
drop.
Druid. So we didn't get to this earlier. If I'm Addison, in my mind, the card that I want to take out post board is Nettle Sentinel, and I think that's what we disagreed
yes.
on last time. My thought is you don't want any cards like Nettle Sentinel that don't. I mean, it doesn't accelerate you really, except for when you're comboing with Heritage Druid, which you can't expect to do often against a removal heavy deck like Nate's. But also Heritage Druid. Nettle Sentinel, one of its key features is that it's a 1-mana 2/2 that can beat, against decks like Ad Nauseam and stuff like that. But it just gets stonewalled by Goyfs. I do not want Nettle Sentinel against the Goyf deck.
The little chipping away at Death Shadow is not really where you want to be.
No,
most
no,
of the
you
time.
don't want to be chipping
If a Death
away.
Shadow were to get played right here, this Nettle Sentinel would just be so horrible.
So I'm curious to see what Addison took out for cards like Shaper Sanctuary. To me, maybe that's just the last Nettle Sentinel that's still in the deck, but that's the card I don't want to see any of.
Well, 8 a push. So.
Yep, not going to see any more of it anyway. Ooh, look at that Llanowar Elves.
That's a
Yeah.
nice one.
Oh, what is that? So that's the OG art,
Well-
but what promo is that?
Well, it looks like Nate Lang's getting a little mana flooded again here, which is unfortunate. And see, this is kind of one of the interesting things. I was talking about these games where you're playing Death Shadow and you just never find a threat.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah, he might just die again. This has
and
been
it makes
really
me wonder,
sad.
maybe this hand was not a keep. I don't know. I haven't really played much with the 4-color shadows.
I know he was
which
on 3 lands.
Oh.
Oh gosh,
Cast it.
do you cast it?
I see it. He's getting punished pretty hard here
Well,
for not fetching.
Yeah, the problem. Yeah, you've
And,
got to. Yeah, jeez.
I am also going to say I'm a little bit surprised that if that's what I think it is.
So there's no way he has another basic swamp, right?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that is brutal. Jeez.
I'm curious. I'm not sure again with these Delirium varieties, but being a player of Grixis Shadow, my street risks are some of the first things to go in this matchup.
Sure.
Because they're going to attack you. You have fetches and shocks and Thoughtseizes. It's not too difficult to go below 13. And yeah, he's just doing the calculations.
Yeah, I
the
just can't tell how much of this is Nate's fault. So these games just
it's
seem.
like maybe he could have mulliganed, but maybe he's supposed.
I mean,
to
his hand was 3 lands, push, terminate.
I think it was push, terminate, Tarfire,
and some.
maybe one other removal spell. Just going to 3, trying to draw something. Maybe he's got.
All right.
Got a
And
wrath effect.
another street.
You
this
gotta
is
go
the,
to 1.
Wow.
You see, if he had any type of wrath effect, I think you go to 1 and just pray.
Yeah, Nate is it's not too well. Nate's a wonderful guy and never salts. But if I were Nate, I would be very salty right now.
I think that first game could have been played a little bit better, but I
Sure.
think that second game was just kind of
I think definitely in
made
both
his
cases he
bitch.
could have done some things to manage his life total better. But he just had terrible sequences of draws there.
Yeah, that was really rough. I
with
mean,
what seemed to be very attractive opening hands both times.
I think that second. I think the second hand was probably like a B.
Wasn't it?
Maybe even a C.
So it was 3 lands, Tarfire, push, terminate, and then a street. Oh, flash freeze.
Flash freeze. Which
how do you not keep that?
I mean, you definitely keep that, but you're not super stoked about it because again, you have to draw. You have to draw
because we know but we know he's got 4 traverse, right?
Well, even with that hand, you don't have guaranteed delirium. You have instant tribal.
That's true. You're right. That's true.
You have to draw something, maybe even 2 somethings, which does not feel that great.
Yeah.
But I do think that probably was a keep because I mean, if he finds any threat really with that hand, realistically, I think he can take that game moderately. Easily, maybe not easily. It might have still been a bit of a fight, but I mean, just drawing all those lands there really made it rough. Really.
Yeah, this matchup overall is definitely favorable for Nate.
For the Shadow decks, being one that's played this a fair bit, Game 1 feels bad. Game 1 is tough.
Yeah, I believe that.
And it's not a whole lot of fun. But games 2 and 3, you get like a lot of cards. Ideally, you have like one, 2, or 3 sweepers in your deck. And kind of another issue with these Delirium Shadows, you don't have the cantrips to go dig and find those really big, powerful, impactful sideboard cards.
No Serum Visions, no Opt.
So I think you definitely have to get a little bit lucky just to pull out, because I think maybe game 1 you're a dog by like 10%, maybe like 60-40 in Elves' favor. And I think games 2 and 3 it switches, which still I think makes it kind of come out to a pretty close.
Yeah, I would say the match overall is probably 55-60 for Shadows, but then again, I'm thinking mainly about Grixis Shadow. It's definitely different for the Delirium Shadow deck. But like you said, he could have very easily had traverse into Static Caster or something like that.
Yeah, which I mean that's a very powerful line if he has access to that. And if he doesn't, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he could even in the sideboard, like I presumably he's not playing the 5-color. I think if he was playing the 5-color, would you bring in the Godless Shrine and the Lingering Souls in this matchup? Like, is Lingering Souls
I don't know
that good against the Elves deck?
Elves? I feel like the answer is no, but I mean it's nice when you're trying to put on a clock at the end and you want to get through a clogged board state,
Well,
where
it
you
also
got
just blocks like a champion,
Yeah,
you just shove with one Tarmogoyf
but if you're blocking with those, if they're actually killing X1s, that's good. But if your opponent's guys if you're actually chumping with them, that doesn't seem good.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, folks, we got about 23 minutes left, so we might be able to find another match. If not, I'm gonna go to Subway. Subway's a sponsor of ours. Eat fresh. Yeah, we'll see you in a bit, but we'll try to get another match here. We got a lot of spicy players here tonight. Lots of very cool decks. Tron. No, I'm just kidding. There are a lot of Tron players, but it's not a cool deck.
Well, actually, people throw in the comments. Tell us what decks you're interested in seeing. Maybe we can appease you.
There are 3. Well, I see 2. Are there? Yep, there's a 3rd one. Yep. Wow, these people are scum. Yeah.
I would love to play against Mono Blue.
I would like to see the Mono Blue Tron mirror, because you know who wins that? The one guy who brought Supreme Wills. I'm telling you, if you're playing the Supreme Wills, that mirror matchup is favorable for you. If you're not playing Supreme Wills, you're going to lose.
I don't really have my finger on the pulse of the Mono Blue Tron mirror.
All right, we'll see you in a bit, folks.